Welcome back to another episode on the podcast. I was going to put out the 7 year cycle, and depending on how long this portion is, this might be a two-part episode. I might kind of combine them into one. I recorded the first 42 years of the 7 year cycles, and I'm going to do the second half of that at another time. But I felt really called to come here and sort of do a Scorpio season check in. Shit's been intense, guys. I think so many of us feel that. So many of us are moving through that. And for some reason, I don't know if it's because I did the November astrology transit episode, podcast, writing, whatever. I was so absorbed into all the Sag sort of movement that I, for some reason, forgot that it's Scorpio season. Like, how can we forget it's Scorpio season? I don't know. But the last couple weeks have been super intense emotionally, just things that I've been going through, things that have been coming up, things that I've been moving through. And I sat here yesterday and I was feeling like so like in this just like defeated sort of energy. And then I remembered it's Scorpio season. And yes, we're going to be feeling this because Scorpio is about depth. Scorpio is about merging. Scorpio is so deep and intense. And all of these things that are coming up are things that need to be seen. And when we're looking at it through the bigger astrological picture, this is a necessary part of the process, right? Just like the whole zodiac, every piece comes in layers in on top of each other. Scorpio, we all hold Scorpio within us somewhere. Some of us feel it more intensely. Some of us barely feel it at all. Some of us feel super comfortable in that scorpionic energy. We all experience it in a different way, but we all hold it within us, right? It's just like in human design, we have every single gate inside of us. We have every single center inside of us. It's just the way that we experience it is a little bit different. But recently, I have noticed a lot of people feeling this intense pull. And it's interesting because I'm a Leo rising, which means that all of my water houses have water signs. And that doesn't look that way for everybody. If you're an earth rising, you're not going to have a water sign in a water house. So the water houses are 4, 8, and 12. And so when you're looking at those, just seeing what signs are there for you. But again, being a fire rising, I have water signs and water houses. And all that really means is it really intensifies that water energy, that intuitive, emotional, fluid sort of energy. And so Scorpio for me is in my fourth house, which is naturally ruled by Cancer, the moon, right? And so this season for me has always been really deep. And I've talked about it on here before. I have felt so good, so emotionally regulated, so almost complacent, so at peace in every way, almost since July. So since Cancer season, right? Like mid-July. About like July. Actually, it might have been a little bit before that, but either way, sometime around Cancer season, my relationship with my emotions just sort of changed a little bit. I kind of stopped drinking. I got a little bit more regulated, but then it was July that I really started implementing meditation twice a day, every single day. And it's always when I begin backtrack. It's always when I get feelings for someone that brings up a lot of things. And I know it doesn't have anything to do with the person. It's really just bringing up my past and things that I still need to work through because everyone that we call into our life is mirroring something for us. There's something there to be learned, some lesson. If you're triggered by something, it's there for a reason. And so I've noticed a lot of my patterns. I'm trying to figure out how to word this. So I'm noticing what my patterns would have been, and I noticed myself choosing something different. But I think it's the awareness and the not shaming myself or not feeling bad about things that have happened in the past because I'm a different person now, but it doesn't lessen or make the emotional experience any easier sometimes. I had a moment over the weekend where I noticed a really strong pattern from the past creeping up. And I had to sit with myself. First of all, I cried. I just like, when you turn on music and it's like the right or wrong song, but the right song hits at the right time and it just like gets you. And I sobbed for like 20 minutes. But I like processed it. And I sat there and in To Be Magnetic work, Lacey Phillips, she talks about, when you've moved through a DI, when it's kind of worked, when you feel this release. And I really hadn't experienced that. I've been doing 2B magnetic work for years, dipping in and out, but I've been really consistent with my meditation. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to replace my meditations with DI and really move through a full workshop and just like really begin implementing these in my day to day, because I've already gotten the routine set up. It's set, it's done, twice a day, every single day. I'm doing this. And so I had this experience, this emotional experience. I kind of cried, and I woke up the next morning and I did a self-love DI, and I was able to witness that part of myself that in the past would have behaved a certain way and didn't in this situation. I didn't behave that way, but I noticed the internal experience starting to shift towards that. And I didn't feel bad about it. I was able to sort of see that part of myself and be like, hey, I see you. I see the behavior and the patterns in the past that were trying to get attention, trying to be seen, trying to wanting connection. Because for me, it's always about connection. Yeah, I love connection. And I think all of us want connection of some sort. All of us want to feel connected to other people. It's just one of our core needs. And we all go about it in different ways. And so being able to witness that in myself, being able to move through that in myself, I felt this release in my body where I was like, oh, I can actually let that go. I am not that person. And I think my difference in behavior showed me that I'm not that person anymore. Like the work that I've done. Sometimes we do the work and we get triggered or something and we're like, oh my gosh, I haven't done any work, or I feel like I'm still the same person. And then we'll have moments like that where we choose something different and we realize how much we've done and how much we've actually changed. And so this was sort of one of those moments. And I just felt liberated in my body. I felt this freedom in my body. And I was like, oh, there it is. That's the thing. That's the change. That's the shift. And so I've noticed a lot of that coming up. And again, I'm doing the inner child workshop, which is going to be bringing up a lot of inner child things. And I'm noticing the patterns showing up in my life. I'm noticing all those things. And so it's very Scorpio, especially Scorpio in the fourth house, right? This is ancestor, home life, family of, or this is my inner experience, my inner world, right? So this is really intense, but checking in your chart to see where Scorpio is. Again, we're not all going to experience it the same way in the same area of life. Scorpio will show up differently for all of us, but the themes of Scorpio are the same, right? It's intensity, it's merging, it's sexuality. When we look at the zodiac, I mean, I could go all the way back to Aries, but let's just go to Virgo, right? Virgo is sort of the perfection of the self, right? Virgo is really looking at how can I be the best version of myself so that I can show up in Libra in relationships and honor and find that peace and harmony and balance with another being, right? Because Libra is when we shift from I centered part of the zodiac to we centered part of the zodiac. So then Libra is marriages, contracts, long-term contracts, business or otherwise, right? Relationships. And then we move into Scorpio, which is it's taking those things, but it's now we're merging souls, which is where the sexuality piece comes into it, because we're one, right? We're not trying to just mess around with lighthearted, fun relationships. Scorpio wants depth. Scorpio wants to be one with another human being. And this is sort of, it's not all that Scorpio is, but Scorpio does hold a lot of that. Scorpio rules the sex organs. So it is deeply in the sort of, yeah, sex is just a big part of Scorpio season. And again, I'm not saying that those themes are going to come up for everybody. Again, it depends where Scorpio is for your chart, how you experience it, what's going on in your life. There's so much to it. But the subconscious work, the frustrations, the intensity, the old narratives, all of these things coming up is what we're collectively feeling when the sun moves through Scorpio, because we're making bigger, brighter this area of the chart. And so, we have Mercury went retrograde and it's going to be back in Scorpio I don't actually remember when. I don't have my little book on me, but it's going to go move back into Scorpio. It's at 6 degrees Sagittarius now. So probably like next week, it'll be back into Scorpio. So those themes are going to be coming up again. And just coming inside and doing that work right now is really powerful. And honoring the experience that you're having is very powerful. Like if you think about Pluto as the ruler of Scorpio, esoterically, Pluto is the ruler of Pisces, and I kind of actually love that as well. It makes so much sense. Like, but Pluto is the ruler of Scorpio. Mars is also the co-ruler, but Pluto. I read a book on Pluto. It's probably behind me somewhere. I'm not going to spend time looking for it, but there's a book on Pluto, and he talks about it's like if you're steering a ship, and you have like the example he gives is a beer, but if you have a soda or a water or something and you take it and you set it down, right? And it's just barely tapping the control. So it's just veering you off course by like a hair, but you go to bed because you've set it. It's good to go. You go to bed and then you wake up to like the boat, like crashing into an iceberg or something like that. Right. Because it's such a slow movement. You wouldn't notice it. You wouldn't notice it until like you do. And so that's the whole thing with Pluto. It's slowly bringing these things to the surface, right? It's slowly making these things. And it's like that analogy of the frog in the boiling water, right? Like the frog doesn't know that he's boiling until he's dead because the temperature rises so slowly that the frog doesn't notice it until he's boiling. And so Pluto is like that energy of just bringing things up so slowly, but then it becomes just more and more and more uncomfortable. And you're like, where did this come from? Until you can't ignore it anymore. And you have to do the work. And I think collectively, so many of us right now feel the need to like, again, like something is changing. We're releasing. I think there are different timelines too, of course, with all of this work, but we're feeling really challenged. We're feeling really confronted right now. And again, it is a collective theme. And so I just kind of wanted to come here and honor that and talk about it a little bit, because I had a friend, just text me too, that was like, oh my gosh, I saw that you said things are intense and things have been so intense for me. And so it's more than, it's a lot of us, right? That have been feeling this energy. And coming into your body, like wherever it is that you're feeling the sensation and like breathing into it can be really helpful. Moving your body, getting outside. I know it's starting to get cold in certain places. Like I walked to the gym this morning and I didn't regret it because, whatever, but that was my thought. I was like, I immediately regret this. It's so cold. And it's only like 40, 50 something here in Texas. But doing those practices that we know work, right? Like again, getting outside, regulating yourself, knowing that, depending on your relationship with your emotions, which I think is a challenge for a lot of people. And oh my gosh, like the work that emotions have been like one of the biggest lessons in my life. And to come into a place where I can witness them, but not be them is really powerful, where I can let go of narratives, let go of stories. If you have not read the 4 Agreements, I highly, highly recommend it. Take nothing personally. Oh my gosh. Assume nothing, take nothing personally, be impeccable with your words, and do your best. Like that's literally all we can do. And so reminding yourself, like, I don't know the narrative. I don't know the story, especially if it comes to someone else. Like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I'm not assuming anything, right? Like I was just having a conversation on a podcast episode and we were talking about that kind of like anxious energy sometimes we get in relationships. And it's like, people will be like, oh, they didn't text me back in X amount of hours or whatever. And it's like, you don't know what that person is doing. We can create stories in our mind of what that person is doing, but they could also just be taking a long nap. Who knows, right? Like we don't know. And so like kind of, again, grounding yourself in the energy, because with the sun being in Scorpio, Earth, which is the grounding force, which we don't really talk about in astrology, but it is present in esoteric astrology and human design. With the sun being in Scorpio, Earth is in Taurus, and this is super grounding energy, right? Of course, Uranus just moved back into Taurus, so it's not super grounded right now, but overall energetically, Taurus is very grounded energy. And just, again, like creating awareness around ourselves and our patterns. And I think not dismissing things, not pushing things away, because we know the saying, what you resist persists. And when we're pushing back on things, when we're resisting things, when we're like not acknowledging things, when we're sort of in this like sleep mode, right? This response mode, we're not able to actually be witness to and see. Actually, a huge theme for the last couple of days, but today I had two podcast interviews, and both of them circled around this idea of synchronicities and messages from the universe coming through in songs, coming through on social media, coming through in just like things that you hear, right? Like if you wake up with a song in your head, like what is that what is the message actually? Because there's been times where I'll like wake up in the morning and I have this song on loop and I'm like, why am I even singing that song? That makes no sense. And now like being super aware of it, yesterday when I was feeling super frustrated, I went on social media, and there were the first two things that I saw were the exact medicine that I needed in that moment, right? But if I was not consciously open to it or aware, I probably would have kept scrolling. I would have like moved on, but I like downloaded and saved them. And I was like, this is the message I needed. I'm good. And I closed the app, and that was it. And I immediately started to feel better because it's like being in dialogue and being in communication with the universe and being open to that. Because I think so many of us want to be in relationship with the universe. We want the messages. We ask for the messages. We ask for the signs. But yet we're just like so distracted by life, and we're in response mode and we're like, go, 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 that it's like, there are so many, like the universe wants to talk to you. The universe wants to help you. I saw another thing. It was just like the thing you've been asking for isn't like so far. It's literally circling you. You just have to get to the point where you can open up and let it in, right? It's orbiting you, it's going around you, but you're not open enough to like allow it to come in. So when you next time you ask for a sign or a symbol or something like that, like really consciously like slow down and like be aware of when it's coming in, and open to the ways that it will come in. Because I think this is also the thing with Pluto, right? One of the shadows of Pluto is control. And we want to control power and control, right? We want to control things subconsciously or otherwise. Like I even noticed that with myself. Like sometimes it's so hard to trust messages that are coming through because it's like we want to control the narrative. We want to know what's going to happen. We want to know what it's going to look like. We want it to look like XYZ, but that's not the way that it works. That's not the way that the universe works. And so just kind of surrendering and allowing things to come to us the way that the universe wants to provide them to us, but being open enough to see what those could potentially be is so beautiful. And that's part of why I love tarot, because it's like, yeah, you could interpret it 100 different ways. But when I sit with like a tarot deck or when I pull it, sometimes my logical mind is like, oh, go reference the book, make sure you're accurate, right? That's like my little imposter syndrome coming up. Like you don't share a message that you don't know, right? But then when I can push that aside and just be intuitive with it, I'm like, okay, this is the messages that's coming through. And there's a point where I feel it like flowing through me. But yeah, again, this is just a little bit of I feel like I had something that I really, really wanted to like hone in on when it came to Scorpio season 2. But I think just reminding you that it's Scorpio season. So have a little bit of compassion with yourself, have a little bit of patience with yourself, slow down a little bit. And I feel very Scorpio season right now. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm just wearing like my black jacket, my black shirt, completely embodying Scorpio. And then even on my bed, there's like my other black jacket. But yeah, like honoring where you're at, honoring what you're going through, honoring what wants to leave your life, honoring what wants to come in. Journal. This is like, yeah, journaling has been such a big practice for me. And especially in times where I feel confused or lost or just like anything, like free writing, getting it out, pouring it on paper, can be really, really helpful in that process. But yeah, I thought I had more to say. And I'm sure that'll be in the shower and everything will be downloading. But for now, that is the message that's coming through. Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Rochelle.Christian. TikTok is the same. It's ROCHELLE.CHRISTIANE. All the ways that you can work with me are down in the show notes, down below. Astro Design School waitlist. You can get on that list. It's going to open up November. It is November. Gosh, my time. I'm in another dimension, apparently. December, the first week of December, doors will open for that. And then you can do one-on-one sessions, transit sessions. Everything you need to know is down in the show notes. Like, follow, subscribe, podcast, Spotify. It's just those 5 stars. You can click it. Yeah, come chat with me over on Instagram or TikTok. I'd love to hear you guys. And if you're experiencing the challenging energy, just take a pause. You know, I think that part of the 7-year cycle is talks about breathing. And I think sometimes we're just not taught how to breathe properly. And so if you're moving through something intense, breathe. Come into your body, slow your breathing, breathe into that spot, and just ground in. And know that you're not alone in it. We're so many of us are going through this together, you know, and reaching out to somebody if you need support, yeah, can be really helpful in the process. So I will speak to you on the other side and I will catch you next week.